Imagine, for a moment, that with every casual conversation you have, you might actually be hurting your relationships without even realizing it. Sounds kind of dramatic, right? But think about it. A really good chat can seriously boost your well-being, makes you feel connected. But then on the flip side, an awkward one. That can leave us stressing for days. What went wrong? Did I say something weird? It really shows how much our daily chats, even the small ones, impact our lives. Welcome to Daily English Practice. Listen and speak.